Hello and welcome to another episode of Stranded with a Stranger. This is our Monday edition of the podcast where you get to send in your lists. Now, if you want to be a part of one of these, please send in your list of 8 tricks, 1 book and 1 non-magic item to sales@alakazam.co.uk. In the subject line, please put my desert island list. That means it comes through to me and we can record one of these for you one time in the future. So please do get those lists in because, of course, the more lists we get in, the more episodes we can put out. With that being said, today we do have another stranger. Today's stranger is Trak. What a cool first name. Trak Smith. He's given us a little bio as well. So he says, "My name is Trak Smith. I'm a semi-retired antiques dealer, author and amateur magician living in the south of France. I'm married, have a 3-year-old Labradoodle, 4 children and 4 grandchildren." Now, on that little list at the end there, Trak, you put your Labradoodle, 4 children, and then 4 grandchildren. I'm not sure if the way that you've listed those necessarily negates which one you prefer. I'm just saying, I'm not sure, but let's find out what you put in your 8-trick list. So, we've got Zodiac Prediction by Liam Montier. Trak said, "I love performing this version of the classic clock effect, and the Zodiac theme is ideal for my own brand of table parlor magic. All I'd need is a spectator or a split personality." Excellent choice. I think it's a excellent effect. A lot of Liam's tricks are super clever, and he's very good at taking old classic plots and effects and just combining them to create something incredible. And this is, of course, a perfect example of that. An excellent choice. And you said your own brand of table and parlor magic. So I wonder if we're going to get some more interesting, maybe even bizarre things going forward. We'll find out. We'll see. In his second position, Trak has put sponge balls, and he says, "In case I have to placate any difficult children, adults or wild animals." So I'm guessing we've got wild animals on Trak's island. Great choice. Again, sponge balls is always going to be a killer effect, one that lots of people perform day in, day out. Always gets great reactions because it happens in the hands of the spectator. A wonderful choice, Trak. And that leads us into your third position. So, in your third position is Disassociated. This is one of my own creations, interesting, and continues to be one of my go-to effects. Time on the island would give me time to think about even more subtleties to add to this effect. Well, that's interesting. So, everyone needs to go out and check out Disassociated by Trak Smith. That's one that I can go and check out as well. He hasn't told us what the effect is, so it can be a nice little surprise for us all. So do go check out Disassociated by Trak Smith. That's the first Stranded with a Stranger that we've had do one of their own tricks as well, which is great. And that does bring us to your next choice. Your fourth choice is The Sting by Scott Patton. Trak says, "The best money I've ever spent on a single effect. It never ceases to amaze and astound any audience." Great choice. It really is so clever. Scott is really smart at coming up with these quirky routines, and it really is a complete mini performance piece, really. It's so smart, it's so clever, and it's pretty much able to be done by anyone. There's not a huge amount of skill needed in it. And that does bring us on to a number 5 in Trak's list, which is Steam 2.0 by Paul Harris and Ali Nouira. I've created an alternative, nostalgic, clairvoyancy-based handling of this effect, and it's mystified and occasionally terrified my spectators. Always a winner when table hopping and for whoever else might eventually get washed up on the island. Absolutely, it's so clever. This is a prime example of when a performer has seen something in the real world or muggle world and has then adapted it for magic. And I love moments like that. Lots of performers and creators will say the same thing. It's always a joy to go into a shop. In the UK, normally Hobbycraft, used to be Wilco's as well, or I guess a Staples in America, or a Hobby Lobby in America. And when you're in there, you just look at things differently. And every now and again, something pops up. You find out the use for it in everyday life, and you realize that it could be a killer thing for magic. And something that it does is easily adapted to our world. So, this is a brilliant way of peeking. Sorry, I should say, if you don't know, this is a really clever way to get a piece of information, but pretty much completely hands-off. There's not many devices or methods like this in the world, but it's super clever. It's a great method and a great choice there as well. So in number 6th position, we've got Martin McMillan's Sterling. Trak says, this is simply a great card and coins routine that never fails to astound. Perfect if I have to entertain any natives on the island. Great, excellent choice. A nice coin trick's always really good, and I guess, I don't know what the type of money is on your island. Maybe it's galleons or something like that, something piratey. But yeah, great choice. That brings us onto the tail end of Trak's choices. So we've got Killer Clowns by Howard Blackwell. See, you may think that I read on in this list. I did not. That was a guess earlier on, so I'm taking credit for that. Here's what Trak says. He says, an entertaining twist on Paul Curry's Out of This World effect that incorporates the illustrations of some America's most notorious serial killers. Seriously creepy, as if being alone on a desert island isn't creepy enough. Very true. Interesting. So I think we had 2 effects so far. At the very beginning, we had Zodiac Prediction, and you mentioned your brand of table and parlor magic. And then during Steam, you mentioned that you have a mysterious version of it that you say occasionally terrifies people. So I guess we could sort of see your style going forward. Maybe you're a bit of a mysticky, bizarre-y sort of performer, which is right up my avenue, but a great choice. Out of This World is a great trick, and using photos or images really takes it into a completely different realm. And that does bring us to your 8th choice, your final choice Trak. You put White Star by Jim Critchlow. What a great trick. Being cast away on a desert island wouldn't be complete without my favourite maritime disaster effect, augmented with original antique props and newspaper cuttings, perfect for a seance performance. Well, I think that just answered my previous question of this sort of stuff you're into. You know what? White Star is a phenomenal trick. I remember getting it when I was a bit younger, and I was sort of exploring the bizarre side of magic. It's a wonderful storytime piece. The fact that it's based on something that so many people are intrigued about all over the world. This isn't just something that is in the UK or in America or, in your case, France. Lots of people know about Titanic. Of course, it has the film, which is very loosely based on things that actually happened. So it's a great choice and a wonderful trick. And it does bring us onto Trak's 2 curveball items, his book and his non-magic item. So based on what we know about Trak so far, what do you think he's put in there for his book and his item? I've just looked ahead, so I've seen both of them. What do you think? So based on his unique brand, what would you think he'd put in his book? So here's what he's done. The Ghost Stories of M.R. James. Oh, you're going to be really scared on your island, I think. You're going to be alone on this island with killer clowns, White Star pictures. I think you're going to be very spooked out. And based on your item, it's going to be an interesting night on Trak's Island. I'm not sure if everyone's going to be visiting him. His item is a Ouija board, for if he ever gets lonely and needs someone to talk to. Very true. Very true. A Ouija board. Well, what a great, interesting list. I think it very much plays into what I presume is your character, if you will. It must be a mysticky, bizarre-y, edgy sort of character, which I'm definitely here for. And the fact that you've got ghost stories and a Ouija board really rounds off your list perfectly. So that's a superb list. Thank you so much for sending that in, Trak. I'll be there on your island. I'll be partying with you. That's a great list. Of course, Trak is no longer a stranger to us. We know everything we need to know about his ultimate list of tricks. So thank you once more again, Trak. Now, once again, if you want to be a part of one of these, please send in your list of 8 tricks or 1 book and 1 non-magic item to sales@alakazam. Please give us a little bio so that we get to know a little bit about you, and of course, tell us why you've chose those effects. With that being said, we'll be back this Friday with another episode of the main podcast. But for now, thank you all for listening, and we'll be back soon on another episode of Stranded with a Stranger. Bye-bye.
When I perform at gigs, I look at effects that tick these 3 boxes. Is it super strong and powerful? Yes. Will it last with your spectators for a lifetime? Absolutely. And does it leave them with a souvenir that perfectly captures the moment of magic? If that all sounds exactly what you're after, look no further than the liquid forks. These forks have been custom designed to be able to bend right in front of your spectators' eyes. It's so easy to perform, it's so visual, and trust me, they will honestly keep this impossible object because they've seen it morph in front of their eyes. It literally does the impossible. Not only that, Liquid Forks comes with 50 of these forks in each pack, and it comes with the full Liquid Forks routine taught by the world famous David Penn. Not only that, we have a subscription service. If you guys love these forks and you get through them at your gigs, we now offer a monthly subscription where you get sent a box through every single month at a 10% reduced fee. Like I said, you guys are going to be loving these. You're going to be performing them every chance you can. Trust me, the reactions are second to none. So guys, head over to alakazam.co.uk, pick up a set of liquid forks. You will not regret it. Easy to do. Leaves them with a killer souvenir. And to be honest with you, it's not cards, it's not coins, it's not mentalism. It's something beyond belief. Check it out now, guys, the liquid forks.